And let's begin with breaking news that's coming in from Hyderabad. After the endless controversy over Nupur Sharma's comments on the Prophet, another BJP Neta now is in the line of fire after he made extremely controversial comments on Prophet Muhammad. Massive protests have since rocked Hyderabad against BJP MLA T. Raja Singh for the comments that he made against the Prophet. Protesters were seen hitting the streets in several parts of Hyderabad late last night, and it's only expected to escalate today as they're making it very clear that they want Raja Singh to be arrested. He's a BJP MLA who's known for making these kind of controversial statements. Not the first time he's found himself in the line of fire. Protests broke out also in front of the City Police Commissioner's office and other parts of Hyderabad after this comment by T. Raja Singh, who is an MLA from Ghosh Mahal, part of the BJP. He released a video making derogatory comments. We will not give him a platform and put out details of what he said here on India Today, because we simply do not allow these kind of hate comments to be aired on India Today. But we are in fact talking about the kind of outrage that's broken out today, as you can see protests across Hyderabad. In fact, T. Raja Singh was making these comments to target comedian Munawar Faruqui, whose show was held in Hyderabad amid huge security. And it is in that context, in his video, that he also made disparaging hate comments against the Prophet Muhammad. We're going to be connecting with our reporter to get you a sense of what the situation is on the ground, because we hear that there were multiple locations where protests happened in Hyderabad through last night. What you see on your screens are also protesters who gathered in large numbers. They're demanding the arrest of Raja Singh. They are saying that he must be taken into custody immediately before things go out of hand. We're going to be trying to get you details really from the authorities of what action has been taken against this man. As I mentioned earlier, he's a motor mouth known to have made these kind of controversial statements in the past as well. So the onus will be on the authorities to act immediately before this descends into all-out chaos, especially keeping in mind what played out with Nupur Sharma and her comments against Prophet Muhammad and all of the protests that we saw breaking out across the country since then and even now. So several complaints have been filed against Raja Singh, the BJP MLA in Telangana, for his remarks against Prophet Muhammad. Raja Singh had made this communal remark while attacking stand-up comedian Munawar Faruqui for his show in Hyderabad. Now, in fact, he had gone ahead and defended his comments on Prophet, saying that Munawar Faruqui makes fun of Hindu gods, and that's why he's doing the same and poking fun of Prophet Muhammad. Big crowds were seen gathering at several locations of Hyderabad, venting their anger against T. Raja Singh for hurting sentiments of the Muslim community, and they've demanded the immediate arrest of Raja Singh. In fact, during the protest, shockingly, Sartan se Juda beheading threats were also heard at these protest venues. These protesters were also seen offering namaz in front of the Hyderabad City Police Commissioner's office as a form of protest, essentially demanding action against Raja Singh. Let's take this across to Abdul Bashir. He's joining us with more details on this. Abdul, what's the situation currently in Hyderabad? You know, we're not going to be talking about what Raja Singh said, because he was clearly doing it with the intention of spreading hate. But what's the situation on the ground currently?
See, right now, as we can see, that several protesters have been barging towards the nearest police station, demanding that FIR should be registered against Raja Singh and he must be arrested immediately. The police is on ground. They had been controlling the protesters. However, a huge amount of protesters have gathered at several police stations in the old city area of Hyderabad, and more than hundreds of them have gathered in front of the Hyderabad City Commissioner's office, staging a dharna and demanding that MLA Raja Singh must be arrested at the earliest. So this is the situation. Now the police has not given a clarity about what action will be taken as of now, but they are working on the issue. That is what we are getting to know. Over to you.
Abdul, is there any action expected against Raja Singh, and has the BJP really clarified what their stand is about what he said? Because this man has a reputation. He's an MLA who's quoted controversy several times before for provocative statements.
See, earlier while speaking to India Today, Raja Singh had clearly said that if Munawar Faruqi's show will be held on 21st August here in Hyderabad, then definitely he's going to make similar objectionable comments against the religion that Munawar Faruqui follows. And he did the same yesterday, after which the video went viral in the parts of the city And in the late night, several protesters have gathered. Police had been trying to convince the protesters that the action will be taken. And now the police are trying to control the protesters who have been gathered near the Hyderabad City Commissioner's office. Like we have seen in the late night, hundreds of people have gathered demanding that Raja Singh must be arrested. So now the police has not given a clarity about what action as of now has been taken against Raja Singh. But yes, BJP has not given their statement as well. It is to be seen what the BJP leaders are going to react and what action will be the Hyderabad City Police going to be taken against MLA Raja Singh. So earlier we have seen that huge amount of security was given to Munawar Faruqui's show. More than 500 to 700 police officials were deployed at the show, which had and also MLA Raja Singh was detained at his house, and a day earlier, prior to the show, he was arrested as well. So this amount of he became furious after he couldn't stop the show that was held at Shilpakala Vedika in Madhapur of Hyderabad, following which he has given this statement. So now police have already registered FIR in 2 to 3 police stations that we are getting to know, but now he has not been arrested. We have to see what the police is going to take action against MLA Raja Singh.
Okay, we'll track the latest updates that come in on this. Abdul, request you to stay on with me. We're going to need your inputs on another story as well. What you see on your screens there are the protests that broke out late last night in Hyderabad. Already the situation very tense. With the amount of security provided there, the onus will be on the authorities to act against Raja Singh. At this point, he hasn't been arrested just yet. But what's worrying is the fact that during this protest also, beheading calls, Sartan se Juda slogans were being raised. So that is the level of seriousness with which authorities will have to act here to ensure that the kind of outrage that happened with the Nupur Sharma controversy is controlled in this particular case.